Yes, my earlier two speakers have spoken very well, and I may not dwell again on what they have spoken, because yes, ours, the Naga people, unfortunately, we have been divided into various states. My friend Dr. Chomo has spoken. Konyak are divided in India and in Myanmar, earlier Burma. One of the village, the boundary runs through the middle of the king's, the chief's house. Ang, we call it Ang. So he eats in Burma, he sleeps in India. that is what it is said. And if time permits, you go and visit for yourself. And that is the fact, and it still exists. And that is where the most unfortunate thing about Nagas, because we're so divided by the artificial, we call it artificial boundaries. And of course, even the government of India have not, literally, they have not demarcated boundary, it's only imaginary boundary. And many of our Naga population lies in Burma, and only few sections are in India. Even our lady friend, uh, she belongs to Yimgyu community, but majority of her community also lies in Myanmar. And in reference to my community lies in Manipur, in two districts, Tamenglong and Senapati. Then in Nagaland, it is Paren, Nagaland. Then a portion lies in Assam, NC Hills, and where, of course, even the Kashis are there in that district. So we are also divided. And so yesterday, my friend has already spoken about our Zeliangrong People's Movement with reference to Ranima and Jarana. And so, in every aspect of our life, our culture, our traditions are affected because we are so divided. And how do I term it? The majority runs over the minority, so I mean, it gets amalgamated in many ways. But however, we are still proud to say that we still believe and we still belong to the same community, and our culture, traditions, we are all one and we're safe. And so this is what my opening remarks, I just wanted to mention that. I just brought about 2 pages paper, let me read it out. And for the benefit of the audience, I would like to mention that I'm just a social activist. I have been working with the social movement for, it's about 25 years now. And then just this February, I decided to move out from the social activism, and I'm traveling. I mean, I've been traveling for quite some time now. I was in Chennai for some programs for about a week. Just a day rest, then I came back again. I would rather prefer, I've been telling some of my friends, I would rather prefer more of a discussion than a sort of a research paper presentation. And that's what I do normally, wherever I go. So for the consumption of the house, I will read out whatever I prepared. But at the end, if the house is willing, we can have further discussions in detail, where I have not mentioned in detail in my paper. The politics and culture of the Naga people are deeply intertwined, reflecting their unique characteristics, historical experiences, and contemporary challenges. The Naga people residing primarily in the northeastern region of India, Nagaland, Manipur, and Arunachal, Assam, and the northwestern region of Myanmar, Sagaing, or otherwise Naga self-administered zone, poses a rich culture intricately interwoven with the political landscape. The Naga society is characterized by its indigenous identity, tribal structure, and historical struggle for autonomy. This essay delves into the many multifaceted nature of Naga politics and culture, exploring their characteristics, challenges, and opportunities. At the heart of Naga society lies a deep-rooted sense of indigenous identity. The Nagas take immense pride in their cultural heritage, which is manifested through their language, customs, and traditional practices. Each Naga tribe exhibits distinct characteristics, dialects, and social structures, contributing to the diverse cultural mosaic of the region. Moreover, Naga culture is transmitted orally with myths, legends, folk songs, and rituals, serving as repositories of collective memory and identity. This is what my two friends have always shared. One thing common is about Moro that they have spoken. Uh, Morong is common in every Naga villages, tribes. But and that is where Nagas practice their culture, traditions, and customary laws. The young people are taught through that Morong. And even in terms of marriages, through Morong, a boy, a girl falling in love, they will find their partners through Morong. The young people are made to sleep in the morning, not with their parents. Once they attain a certain age, they will be moved out to the morning. So that is the common practice of the Nagas. And even in terms of traditional or customary laws, lots of similarities. There could be some variations. In a sense, like when our sister mentioned about the hereditary of a family, who inherits the family's property. For some tribes, the eldest inherits the property of the family. But for some, like mine, and as she has mentioned, the youngest, and being the youngest from the family. So the youngest inherits the property, the father's property. Apart from the common clan or family property, whatever is owned by my father, the youngest inherits. So there are some relations and there are some uniformity in some of the tribes. But as I say, it varies from tribe to tribe. But the practices, in a way, it is quite common. Parallel to their cultural ethos, Naga politics reflects a history marked by struggle and resilience that our director has already mentioned. A little bit of Hindi, so. So anyway, thanks to the director for giving the gist of the Naga people. The Naga insurgency dating back to British colonial rule has been a defining feature of Naga politics. So in 1918, Naga Club was formed, as the director has mentioned. 1929, Naga people had submitted a memorandum to the Simon Commission in 1929, asking the colonial rulers, the Britishers, to leave us alone. Not to be a part of India, but to leave us alone as a free people. That was in 1929. So that was the reason when Naga people have demanded for an autonomy. The British refused, they have not officially refused, but ignored the appeal of the Naga people, and that is where 1951 general election was boycotted. Naga people did not participate in the general election. And so that was the beginning where the word Hindi became so allergic to the Naga people, and Naga people does not want to learn Hindi. Yeah. Fueled by grievances over perceived marginalization and the desire for self-determination, various Naga rebel groups, such as the Naga National Council and later by the National Socialist Council of Nagaland, have engaged in armed conflict with the Indian state. This protracted insurgency has resulted in cycles of violence, displacement, and human rights abuses, leaving an indelible impact on Naga society. Yesterday, the director was mentioning about the security. The director and the chairman of the session was mentioning about the security forces in Manipur. When we travel out of, not even Northeast, out of Nagaland, we don't find security forces, the Assam Rifles or paramilitary forces, we don't find. We find only in Manipur and Nagaland. Arunachal also you don't find. Pockets of Arunachal you find, but not in all the areas. But Nagaland and Manipur, every corner you'll find the Indian armed forces. And that is where, instead of providing security, they are so insecure to the tribals and the Naga people. We don't call it as security forces, but we term them as insecurity people to the tribals people. If you remember that December 2001 in Mon, seven young people were killed by the security forces, by the paramilitary forces. Yeah. How can a security who is supposed to be securing the lives of the people turn as, an enemy and kill randomly without even trying to identify them in a truck, Tata Mobile? Randomly they fired upon them and 7 people, innocent people were killed, and they were working in a coal mine.
Miners. They are miners. Mining.
Yes, miners. They were coming back home from a coal mine, and the Assam Rifles, or otherwise called as paramilitary forces, randomly fired and 7 of them were killed, innocent lives lost. And so I keep justifying saying this is not as for the sake of security, but they are pretty insecurity. They fear more of with the uniformed personnel rather than we call it Naga nationalists or insurgent groups or otherwise underground. These people are more insecure to us, and which may not resemble in other states of India. But this is what we face in Northeast. And that is the reason why we keep demanding from the government of India to remove this Armed Forces Special Powers Act. They cannot be, under this act, they cannot be tried even in the court. And so that exactly happened in Mon district, Dr. Thomas district. And I, as an activist, I was also kept under scrutiny for 24 hours, blindfolded by the security forces. So these are the situations that we are in our homeland. Now, let me come back to my paper. Characteristics of Naga politics and culture. Indigenous identity. The Naga people have a strong sense of indigenous identity rooted in their history, traditions, and territory. Like I've already mentioned, Nagas are rich in its culture and traditions, but it is only translated through oral. And we lack in documentation. And That's where the Naga people now, with this emerging society, we have been trying our best to document it, and I have already presented that to the director, a few books for the institute. We are still, that is not final, but we are still trying to make it as possible as it is. The tribal society, Naga society is traditionally organized into various tribes, each with its own custom, dialects, and social structures. Oral tradition, much of Naga culture is transmitted orally through myths, legends, folk songs, and rituals. Traditional governance. Our society, each village practice a democratic form and has its own republic form of governance. And so this, the village council, in the rest of India they call it Panchayati Raj. But in Nagaland we practice this village council headed by a chairman along with the Gaon Buras, GBs that we practice. And it was during, it was in 2001. I can't really remember the exact year. A.M. Gokhale was the chief secretary of the government of Nagaland. And we practiced these village councils, and then we have village development boards, VDB. Village Development Board under the guidance of the village council. And so that village development board was the first of its kind in the whole of India. And so the government of India took it as the government took it quite serious, and the model of the village development board was constituted even in other states. And if I keep on reading, it will go too long. The nature of Naga politics. Director has already mentioned, but let me also say something on this. The Naga people does not identify themselves as Indian.